Welcome back to the Bucharest Major. One more game. That's what they always say, right? Well, we've definitely only got one more game tonight because it's the last of the best of three in our third quarterfinal. EG and Liquid are all tied up. Let's get into the thoughts of Cap and Suns fan before we head into the third and final draft. Cap, all on this one then. We're effectively back to a best of one.
Yes,
As
we
intended,
are.
right, by the tournament.
I mean, surely Evil Geniuses has got to be feeling a little bit of momentum after a perfect game against Liquid, right?
Well, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? From their point of view, you'd hope that actually that's buoyed them now. I know there was a little bit of messing around in there, and you could tell the Liquid boys probably after about 20 minutes were kind of like, guys, I think this one might be lost, but we'll just carry on and have a chat and have some fun or something, or try and find I don't know what they were doing in there. But they were obviously having fun, because you saw them. They were very relaxed in there. They were laughing and joking. So, okay, cool. So it hasn't affected them mentally. They're going to go into this last one with the objective of crushing EG.
Yeah. Evil Geniuses definitely proved to me that they can close out these early games, that their aggressive lineup.
Yep.
I thought they were going to be left in almost a similar situation where they were going to have to hunt down this lone druid, split pushing them, and deal with this Timber Saw. And if they couldn't kill the Timber Saw, then maybe they were going to run out of steam, similar to the way that they did against that Venomancer. But didn't happen at all. They actually closed out the game beautifully, right? They actually did not make any mistakes whatsoever when it came to their dives and their target prioritization and great focus on objectives.
Okay. I think the psychological effect that a win or a loss like this is actually interesting, because I've been a part of this, at least in the same room as some of these guys, right? It's not as big of a deal as you might think, like at least the layman, right? So let's look at it from EG's side. They win, it feels like an absolute stomp. It's like you're playing against bots. You don't really feel that good about it at the end of the day. Right. And on Liquid side, you feel like you are the bot. You're like, it's whatever. Like, especially team this experience, like, let's just play the next. Who cares?
Yeah.
It actually has, I don't think it has any effect onto the next game. But momentum is important, especially in a very long series. But it's best of three. It's not that long, really. So,
I mean, surely there's an inkling in the minds of the EG players that they're going to go, that's what we thought we could do. Now we know we can do it.
I mean, it depends on the player to player as well, because you have to have the killer instinct, which I think somebody like Sumail definitely has killer instinct. Okay, what do we got here? Viper's ban now.
Are they going to pick Coddle on Liquid? Because otherwise, Evil Geniuses have the notorious Sumail combination, where they enable his Beastmaster with Keeper of the Light. And failing that, they could also get Chen, which they also use to enable the Beastmaster.
Yeah, Chen Beastmaster combo is pretty dirty, actually.
Yeah,
lots of
Insta-pick is the Coddle.
So because the Chen, I think ET actually kind of likes playing around Chen because of the extra creeps and the spirit interaction. I think Keeper of the Light was definitely the better pickup here.
Well, okay then. Give them possibly their best combination right now.
I think what Liquid are going to do is they're going to try and get a hero that can deal with Beastmaster, Keeper of the Light, and they're going to run an aggro lane of their own with ET +1. And they're going to say, okay, we're going to lose our safe lane, but we're going to make sure they lose their safe lane too. Or at least it's going to be a tough matchup.
This is a super fast draft, by the way.
I mean, the teams are relatively comfortable with each other. And this is the one thing that EG doesn't have the advantage in. They get the Beastmaster, and you pretty much 99% know that Sumail is playing it, right? So you don't really have that ace up your sleeve, so to speak. So now they're banning for Arteezy, even Fear, because he's played a little bit Death Prophet as well, but the Morphling more. I mean, Morphling just feels... I feel like this hero is still, even though it's been picked in the second phase a lot, I think it's still kind of underappreciated. I think there hasn't been enough time for players to truly master it yet. I actually think like in a month it'll be first ban.
Maybe. I mean, Arteezy has been fantastic on it as well.
Yes.
As you say, I think we talked about it earlier with the doppelganger. Was that here? It's been such a long day, I can't remember.
What's that?
Didn't we talk about Arteezy on the Morphling earlier?
Briefly.
Yes.
Very briefly.
He's definitely pushed the limits of that hero quite well. There were so many situations where, like, say, he had it against Razor, and he would every single time just turn himself into a Razor and then get the static link on that hero.
As a caster, do you enjoy casting the new Morphling? I find it super confusing in fights.
It's very confusing, but I think
you just have to watch for
the high-level plays, like there's a higher capacity for next-level plays, and I think that makes it exciting. as a caster. You just have to have a keen eye and make sure you don't get lost.
Yeah, you want options, don't you? You want to have heroes with options, game-changing options that, if they come out, it naturally excites everyone.
Yeah, you don't want to have those sort of situations where like, oh, I know what's going to happen in this fight.
Yeah.
Like this hero is going to get run at. It has no options. It's going to die, and that's it.
It's partly why Rubik's one of my favorite heroes.
Back to the Venno.
So I think Venomancer might be able to deal with a Coddle Beastmaster with the right support behind him. The spam is going to be a problem for him. The Axis spam and like him being pushed underneath his tower, that's going to be a big problem for the first couple of levels. But if you can get like level 4 or 5, have the higher level in wards, then maybe it's possible for him to deal with that. I remember there are other heroes that they tried against this. I've seen Lifestealer, I've seen Ursa. Those kind of heroes that have strong 1v1 matchups against Beastmaster have been attempted against the dual lane, and it's gone okay. But you're not going to hear any ringing endorsements out of me.
Yeah, it's still quite open, though, overall for Liquid. I mean, do you think it's any kind of disadvantage taking your 2 supports first 2, as opposed to EG taking a core and a support? Do you think it really matters that much these days?
I kind of like the... It depends on what your supports are. I think in some ways there's a limited number of 5 positions, so I'm always kind of down with a strong team fighting 5 position and then one of your cores. I think your 4 positions sometimes offer you some counter play, but again, it depends on which ones. Because ET, I think, is one of those heroes you can always pick up in the first 1-2, and you'll never feel too bad about it, as long as you don't get some sort of laning phase counter.
So Evil Geniuses are 10 wins from the last 11 when Samael has played Beastmaster.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Only Virtus Pro have managed to beat them in the last couple of months.
How many times has Lion been picked?
Not a huge amount, but Misery has been playing it recently, and it is one of his most played.
Yeah, and I think
they played it 3 times this year.
Do you know if the build
And
cap,
one was
do they get mana drain early now because of the slow? It was buffed again?
It's like 1 level of Hex, I believe.
Like,
so we're still going to do like a 4-1, kind of like 2 or
like a 3-1-1 or?
Yeah, sort of like that. So
Okay.
they don't need the higher levels of Hex early on.
Right.
I think they like the line here because it's it's one of those initiators that makes sure that you get the disable on somebody and you blow him up and he doesn't get a chance to cast any spells. And that's exactly what you want to do against the Venomancer. The worst thing that can happen is that you go on a Venomancer, you almost kill him, and then he gets off Gale and Nova, and then your team fight is just screwed. So I think that option is good for him. Not sure if there's anything else that really stands out against Bane or ET that makes the line good.
Okay, Liquid's going to take Lifestealer this time.
Yeah.
No vehicle as of yet. Not that it really matters, especially last game didn't matter at all. What is when you look at Beastmaster, what do you think is a good counter to him? I think of like back in the day, Clockwork was a pretty decent counter because he can just rocket the Hawk, but obviously can't do that anymore.
I think the biggest thing is to make sure that you don't lose your lane too heavily, because I think that a Beastmaster properly enabled is one of the best run-at-you heroes that he shuts down cores. So I think Lifestealer is okay at being able to deal this. He has natural sustain. His Feast is going to be good against any strength hero. He can kind of stand toe-to-toe. The worst thing that you feel is when you get axed and you have this extra damage on you that you have to walk away from the Beastmaster and he gets free hits on you. So you want to be able to challenge that in some way.
And it's interesting that they pick a Lifestealer into a Beastmaster, isn't it?
And also with the Venno, because that's actually Matumba Man's both of those. I mean, Miracle just doesn't really play it.
Yeah, maybe we're going to have the Venomancer in a mid position here.
Right.
Matumba Man's playing that, and then we have like some sort of Miracle Lifestealer.
What about old school off lane of Venno?
Off lane Venomancer is the other option.
Yeah.
Because you're right, yeah, I don't see Miracle playing any of these heroes.
No,
I mean, he can definitely do it, but...
He has played Lifestealer, but not very much. I think it's like 5 times, just checking it out. 5 times, yeah. He has 5 games, lifetime. But did play it a couple of games, though, in the group stages against VG. Before that, it was 7 months ago that he last played it.
Brood mothered.
They sure have.
Oh.
They have nothing against this hero right now. Infest is AoE.
It is now.
You have.
Can you go battle? Do you want to go battle for your Lifestealer? I don't know. Ooh.
So you need to have, you need to make sure that you have a matchup against that. Venomancer doesn't really deal with it. His Warts build gets gobbled up by the spiders, I believe. Your Gale is a threat at like level 1, 2, but I don't think it's quite good enough. So
there is one saving grace here. Unlike a lot of teams who have Broodmother, Virtus Pro spring to mind, who I think have only lost 1 game on Broodmother in 20 in the last year, EG do lose a lot of games in comparison to other teams when they use the Brood. In fact, they've lost 3 of their last 5, yes. But that said, the last 3 were all 6 months ago. They haven't played the Brood in a long time.
Oh, so a lot of them have not been under Misery.
None under Misery at all.
Okay.
This is very much a Misery pick.
I mean, Misery will be playing, I assume, the Lion.
Yes. Yeah, no, I didn't mean
Very
he'd
good.
be
No,
playing
I
the Brood, but
right.
This is down to him picking it.
It's more about his comfort level in the game
Yeah.
where a Brood is picked, but the Brood just feels amazing right now. I mean, you do have Elder Titan who's going to get a lot of damage from the spiders, I guess, Astral Spirit.
EG's turn to pick.
I mean, is this a, I was going to say Timber, but Timber's really bad against the rest of the hero. I mean, that's the thing, right? Who do you pick against Brood that isn't bad against the rest? Especially with Beastmaster. I mean, they have so much single target burst with Lion and Beastmaster specifically. And they're going to chop it off with a Razor.
And now the Lifestealer feels a lot worse because of the Razor pickup. He not only has the Beastmaster Roar, but now the Static Link he has to worry about.
Lincoln's time? It's not even enough. Yeah, this is rough. Can they pull something out of their hat here as their final pick that makes everything okay? Tiny would have been good, but that was obviously banned by EG in the last phase here. Well, they're going to top it off with an Omni Knight, okay? Makes sense on a certain level, but I don't know if that's enough.
Yeah, the Omni Knight here is an
like they're
attempt to be able to
scrambling.
counter some of the it's definitely a big physical damage focus between, like, all 3 of their heroes are very much focused on right-click, physical
it is
damage.
a miracle Lifestealer, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the hardest carry on this side
Yeah.
for Team Liquid, so it does make sense.
It is only his 6th ever game.
So what do they need their matchup to be? Maybe they might be okay with Venomancer versus Brood mid. You're still going to lose, but they don't want Omni versus Razor when it comes to the laning phase. I think there are like too many laning phase issues where Liquid need to be able to find the perfect matchup, and I'm not sure what that is.
It's going to be a tough game for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be really tough in the laning phase.
Is it going to be too tough, though? Prediction time.
I think the laning phase plays too important of a role when it comes to this part of the meta, so I am going to go for Evil Geniuses here.
I like EG's lineup a lot more, so I'm going to go with Liquid.
Nice.
I'm an analyst, by the way, in case you were wondering. I don't like to change my mind, Red Eye. I made a prediction. I'm sticking with it through thick and thin. I'm that kind of guy.
Good for you.
I'm going to be wrong, but, you know, it's fine. The silence is really...
At this point,
I'm
it's been a long day, I guess. Let's get on with it, ladies and gentlemen. Toby, what a purge awaiting to bring you game number 3. Enjoy.
I just want to say how happy I am, Purge, that you're sitting next to me.
You're not Suns fan? I
And
don't know.
not Suns fan, yes. Game 3, EG versus Liquid. It seems like the draft started to get a little bit off the rails for Liquid halfway through that, and it doesn't seem to have changed at the end of the draft.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how much it's changed between the first game, the second game, and now the third game looks kind of reminiscent of number 2. Just they keep grabbing these strong lane heroes, and they keep grabbing these matchup advantages. The Brood has really just thrown a wrench in Liquid's plans. The Lion is maybe the only pick that I saw where I was a little unsure about.
Yeah,
but
I was like does this really make a lot of sense? But like we were talking about it before, and you're like, it's that lockdown, right? You wanted a lockdown from a support.
yes, in the first game they had no disable, or at least they had little disable. They have Roar this game, but just Roar alone is usually not enough, so pair it with something else, and you've got like plenty of disable. If you're ganking a hero, helps you catch up in the game. Liquid did not have that last game, that's why they got no kills. And this game with the Lifestealer pick, it looked like a solid pick, maybe a hero that EG wanted to use, but with the line on the enemy team, Lifestealer seems like the obvious pick. I don't know if Liquid necessarily was baited into it, but it not being on EG's team gives them the easiest Brood game.
That smile on Kuro's face because the joke that's currently going through in inside the chat. Crit's asking if someone's got a nosebleed.
Yeah, he said GH is bleeding. He got a headache from last game.
Yeah.
Should have taken it more easy on him last game.
Yeah.
So it's bleeding. It's EG's fault, basically.
Oh,
Very
bleeding red. This isn't what's meant to happen. They've gone too far into the blood.
It was all a lie.
Yeah. See,
Wrong team,
it's marketing. That's all this is. It's marketing. So Team Liquid versus EG, our biggest brand matchup of the day.
I'm pretty sure it's in their contract. Like, you're not allowed to.
You're not allowed to bleed red?
Yep, exactly.
It's not allowed.
Not
Okay.
on camera, at least. That's why they had to pause.
I thought
Totally
they
normal
meant
stuff.
to bleed other beverages, which are not the sponsors of this tournament.
True.
Shout out to my beverage, which is right next to me. Okay, so as far as the matchups go, the panel was talking about it. The matchups you don't want to have. Let's talk about the matchups that you do want to have if you're EG, if you're Liquid. How do you shuffle your lanes to get the good matchup against EG?
The obvious one is Omni Knight versus Brood because you have AoE, so you can last hit and trade more effectively against Brood. On the downside, with the longer cooldown and purification, it's a little bit harder to find to be survivable at all stages against Brood, because if he uses purification offensively or to last hit, then you can come in and hit him with spiders. So Liquid definitely wants Omni to be against the Brood Mother in lane, but they also might do something like Omni versus Razor potentially, and then shift the Omni into the Brood lane once Brood gets like level 3, level 4.
Well, let's get underway. It is Game 3 time. Liquid versus Evil Geniuses. We have resumed and are ready to go. And this crowd, which has been with us all day, still seems very lively going into the evening. So let's push it. Our final matchup. And we'll see who gets the upper hand. So laning-wise, it looks like we are going to have Beastmaster Coddle for EG up on the north, at least for now. Unless they want to change up their mind. It's GH's ET. He absolutely wrecked with this thing before, so I'm looking forward to seeing if EG will actually block the small camp that is right next to that top lane. He'll be teaming up with Venomancer, so Matumban does go for the off lane. Brood going mid, no surprise, up against Mind Control's Omni Knight. And that leaves the bottom dual lane, which is Arteezy's Razor, working with Crit against Miracle's Livestealer and Kuro's Bane.
Which makes a lot of sense, because Brood kind of has to go mid. In the other lanes, he can run out of webs. Maybe he either needs to be like safe lane with a fairly static lane or in the mid lane. So the Omni one, I don't think we're going to see him dodge, but ideally EG just wants to have Razor versus Lifestealer, limit his last hitting, and shut him down in lane.
Well, they're contesting runes. Crit as well as Arteezy going to have a crack over towards Miracle, thanks to Crit's Impale stun. Arteezy able to steal a couple of points of damage and just chip away at Kuro, as well as Miracle.
Forces 2 tangos out of that. Super valuable for Razor, considering that's the start of the wave. And by the time the creeps meet again, he's going to be close to his next static link. So good start for EG, albeit a small one.
Looks like GH is already rotating lanes. He went Boots first, just going to head down towards the bottom lane, leaving Venomancer in a 1-on-2. This mid matchup will be a lot of fun. We'll see how well Mind Control plays this. We've seen him run these mids versus melee cores very well. Batrider versus DK earlier on in the tournament. Obviously, though, you're up against one of the most feared heroes in the game right now, which is the Brood Mother, when you don't have an easy straight-up counter to it.
Yeah, draft-wise, it's something you have to be really careful about. If Fear does get enough last hits and he's doing fine with his Quelling Blade, he can put himself in a pretty safe position, and then eventually he can play around and deal with the Omni Knight, but he won't be able to snowball super hard in his lane at least. So that's one good thing that Liquid has going for them. And hypothetically, if the Brood doesn't do that amazing, I think in the long run that could mean that EG is not going to be nearly as strong as it looked in the draft.
Liquid, well, they found Arteezy for half a second. GH has a little bit of bonus damage in plus 15 points. No stacks for him to really work on, but Kuro and GH understand it. They need to zone out Arteezy. They need to create space. Miracle needs to be a factor in this game, unlike Game 2.
So Arteezy was basically trying to sap as much experience as possible. He's actually successful here, getting 3/4 of a level. But now Crit, what he's done is planned ahead and prepped for the creep wave. But now that he's pulled it all the way here, that guarantees a fast level 2 now for Razor, and ultimately a better laning stage.
GH to try and block him in. Crit won't allow it. Impales quickly.
Like, the big weakness for Lion is that in the laning stage, he's actually quite vulnerable. He's forced to go Boots here. His damage is not that great, and even his level 1 nuke is okay. 80 damage, 1.4 seconds of stun. But if he gets run at, he is very vulnerable, and that plus Coddle means that's an opportunity for Liquid to try to exploit it. So smart for them to do what they just did here. Guarantees a fast level 2 on Razor, and now they can fight a little bit better.
I was actually going to wonder with Matumbaman how his build would go on this Venomancer. It is possible for Venomancers on the off lane just to back out and try and farm up inside the small camps near the lane. But he's gone for the 1-1 so far. We'll see if he changes it up at all.
Yeah, it just gives him a little bit of lane safety. He can possibly just basically just stay alive if he gets in trouble. And that's maybe one way that Beastmaster is going to be weak. He's not going to be able to just chase him down.
Misery starts channeling up the Illuminate. They're stealing off the damage already. Crit gets a nice double stun, but it won't stop Miracle from getting the last point of damage in, and GH knows he's low. TB's all the way back to base, so EG do the rotation. It was scouted out by the Liquid Observer Ward, and they did not fall for it. They get the kill nice and quick.
And that was that line vulnerability. Dies very fast. Can possibly set up a kill on Venomancer now. He's sitting at about half HP, does have a salve, and if he doesn't heal up all the way, then he's definitely going to be vulnerable to line. Now line's just going to go for pulling. I think he's realized this isn't going to work out.
Sumail's diving. He's not in a baton this time around, and you've also got GH available. Spirits up. He's trying to get in front of Sumail, looking for the body block. Matumbaman doesn't actually have the Gale anymore, so here's your Stomp. Allows him just to change around the position and get back in front of Sumail. Still ticking down with those poison sticks. It's gonna be the one charges for the Spirit. Amplifying up, giving the kill to Matumbaman, who now follows up into a Gale. Crit just came to help, but all he does is feed. And then even into bottom lane. Arteezy standing his ground against Miracle. It's the open wounds which is slowing him down. Miracle doesn't have the movement speed on him anymore. So Arteezy salves and then adds a lot more pressure with Misery's Illuminate.
Being line is a hard life, man. Very easy to die. He even interrupts his pull to go try to save Sumail there and ends up not getting the experience that would have given him a level 2. So 4 minutes in and this line's still level 1. A weak early game hero and he's just going to live there for a long period. Like Elder Titan's level 3. That's going to do way more.
Yeah, enjoy level 1, Crit.
I mean, he'll get some levels eventually, but...
He's doing the pull now, so this will give him level 2. Matumbaman won't move over to try and contest this unless GH wants to rotate up towards the top.
Maybe just Sumail feeling too confident from riding off of the high of last game. Perhaps diving under tower. But Scale's so dangerous. It slows you for so long that if you're out of position, it takes a long time to get back to safety.
My Control's having a really fun time in mid. Like you mentioned, like the Broodmother wouldn't walk over, and My Control very happily getting levels. The #1 net worther on the field. He's a full 500, 600 gold in front of Fear.
Just kills 5 spiders there. It's such a great nuke against them because they actually have a lot of magic resistance, but he's dealing pure damage, which means from here on out, he just one-shots most of the spiders. They each have 250 HP. He'll need a 4th point to be able to kill an entire stack of spiders. Such a good matchup advantage.
Good defensive Observer Ward now up from EG. They saw the movement to the top lane, so there was no trap, but Arteezy on bottom lane won't be so lucky. One last paw swing from Miracle, and Arteezy goes down. It is now looking like the opposite style of the game. It's nowhere near the advantage we saw in Game 2, but it is 4 for Zip, EG not on the board yet.
And the issue is that EG just wasn't able to stabilize their lanes in the same way as the previous game. Line was kind of useless in the off lane. He was kind of a vulnerability. They need to get Razor farm. And with Liquid forcing a tri-lane down there right at the start, it's made it very difficult for EG to perfectly lane this out, basically. And then the roaming on Liquid is just stronger, too. So they're making these lanes work. As long as Omni Knight just keeps doing Omni things in the mid lane, he's going to get out of control with farm.
GH is checking where Fear is with just the Spirit. Trying to run it over the top of the Broodmother, get all that bonus, and then he can just drag it up to the top to attack. It won't happen, however. As he backs up to pick up both the runes. In fact, Liquid claim all 4 bounty runes 6 minutes in. And My Control's being a little bit more proactive. Put down the Observer Ward, blocks up the Ancients. Fear,
Smart.
Having a lot of his mid lane resources taken away from him.
Yeah. It'll hurt in the long run, but I'm sure the biggest threat, and one of the reasons Brood is usually so strong, is because he just kills heroes. And he can't do that against Omni Knight. It's actually impossible. He can't even use his spiders just to simply get last hits in the creep wave because there's always the threat of the Purify. He's got a little moment here between Purify and nukes, but it's pretty short relatively, and the Brood would prefer to pressure heavier. I mean, maybe he can change lanes, try to get some support kills by building up webs and things, but these options are a little iffy right now. It'll have to happen soon once he hits like level 8, level 9.
For now, he just left the lane. Arteezy would love to do the same, but not in this kind of style. Sent back to Fountain just because of Death Spirit. Stomp connects onto Misery and Team Liquid. The chaining is beginning. Misery under the tier 1 tower. You know they can keep diving. Kura gets the double kill. TP support from Sumail comes too late. He's level 6, has now leveled up Raw, but there's no one else here on bottom lane to help him. So they just changed the lane. Arteezy needs space to farm, so he goes top. He is the 4th lowest net worth right now. ET has more net worth than this Razor.
That's not a good position to be in. On the bright side, he does match up very well against Lifesteal in the mid-game fights, but with this kind of a net worth differential, I don't think it's even going to matter. He's just killing him while still being static linked.
Are they really going to have a... Okay, Miracle's leaving.
I mean, Beast is level 7 at least. They can certainly get a kill here if they find
Kura,
initiation.
Hex, crit, gonna get that double stun off. Level 2 stun, sorry, off. The ET Storm forced EG just to back off for half a second. TP support is on the way. Kura hiding in the trees. Sumail comes in deep. The Axes plus the blast will get the kill, but Matalaman, he committed both Nova and Gale. Sumail knows he's not going to live through this, so do as much damage as possible. Work with Misery, so Misery can get the double kill. GH is low on life, but there's your heal from Mind Control. Keeps GH alive and kills off Sumail.
And those little moments there where it looks like Sumail's about to get a double kill are huge for him, but with Mind Control's rotation here, it just shuts it down.
With these phase boots, his movement speed, he can just catch up to Crit.
So smart.
Okay, well, Crit runs into the Fog of War, says no to the Bounty Rune, and Mind Control will just accept having that. He needs to get back to mid to defend.
Yeah, if Omni caught up to him, it was going to be a kill. It's 4 points in Degen Aura against a simple Brown Boots line. He would have gone down. So ultimately, okay for EG that they did finally get some kills in the offlane. Sumail's going to be the big hero rotating, just because he deals so much damage right now. He can dive trees, and he can set up and follow up on the disables that his other support is carrying. So Arteezy just now finishing his Aquila. Not the best place to be in when your Lifestealer's halfway to his armlet, but he needs a little bit of space and a little bit of items and hopefully some rotations for kills as well.
Yeah. The end of that Dire Observer what at least lets him know that Kuro is up on top. That's why Arteezy is holding back as close as he can to the tier 1 tower. In the mid lane, however, Fear, there is no safe place to be. Mind Control very willing to go underneath the tower.
And again, he's collecting his spiders. He's just sending them into the jungle camps instead. That's really all he can do.
Yeah, or else he could just feed the beast that is Mind Control.
And Mind Control is going a pretty aggressive item build, rushing Radiance before any transition items like Drum or Midas. But it's really worth it this game. His net worth is in a great place, and it's going to deal a lot of damage against enemy heroes.
Yep. Make it difficult to really attack. Mind Control is going to give it a shot. Spiderlings were coming in. But Mind Control still got 13 one charges available. He's not phased. He's under 10 minutes in the mid lane as a Omni Knight has already cracked 5k. And with that purification, 5.2k.
And now that the Ancients is blocked, this just, again, limits Fear's ability to accelerate in terms of farm. He can't touch Mind Control. The only way it's going to happen is if they do some kind of smoke gank and have both Line and Beastmaster there. And it would be a big kill. Certainly lowering the timing of his Sacred Relic would help out, but it's kind of a hard gank to do, and it's going to be kind of obvious when they're off the map for a bit. And if you mis-execute a little bit, or he sees you coming and repels, you don't get the kill, and you waste your time. So it's just a hard position for EG right now.
Where are you off to? Crit, smoking on top of a Radiant Observer ward, the one that was blocking the camp. Now, EG already knew about this ward because they already saw the camp hadn't spawned up, but...
Yeah, Fear pinged it too, but
yep.
Must have been busy with something else. Okay, there's the D-ward. They can tell based on the movement. Well, makes his sentry paid off, but he does lose the smoke.
Top lane, Nightmare onto Arteezy. Miracle just rages ready to fight, and there's not a lot that Arteezy can do about it apart from static link, but Crit can do more. By TPing in, adds a little bit more pressure.
And finally, Lifestealer's not doing that much damage to Razor as he gets more points in static link, but this is him taking damage in lane and just sort of breaking even. And with the rotations, this could get scary for him. Slightly misplaced on the Spirit there. Needed to be a bit behind him to secure that kill, but either way, it's kind of reminiscent of last game. Pressure him, make him not feel comfortable at farming, and decrease his overall GPM.
I'm wondering how long until Matalaman's strong enough to add pressure. He's about to crack level 9, which will give him his level 4 in Plague Wards. Sumail's been keeping him at bay for the moment.
It's pretty safe though. A lot of the supports on EG's side are very squishy, so even walking through Plague Wards is dangerous.
Top lane, Fiend's Grip's on, the Keeper of the Light. Misery won't be able to escape. Not once the Stomp was able to connect as well. The supports do their work and give Miracle a kill.
It's one of the really big things that Liquid has from their support duo. Elder Titan's teamfight and gank capabilities, and Fiend's Grip is pretty much good against all of EG's heroes, really. If somebody gets caught with that and there's a lifesteal on top of you, you're going to die. And he hit level 6 at pretty decent timing. Just feels like Liquid has really good control of the lanes.
EG was looking for something in mid potentially. It would require that level 1 Hex from Crit to land on Omni and get the instant stun. Even then, I'm not certain it's enough until Broodmother has the Orchid. Mind Control is building up that cash. 3.5k gold currently in the bank account.
He's almost got his relic.
Yep.
This is insane.
12 minutes in, looking very nice.
But he can't even get himself away from Omni Knight with 2 disables. He's still caught.
Oh no, crit. The physical damage, is it enough for Mind Control? No!
Very close. He does waste a lot of mind. Just kidding. He's going to kill the tower now.
Waste a
They've
lot
got
of
a glyph,
time.
actually. This is not bad, but he can just TP.
Can he actually? He can't. Like the phase boots are on cooldown, so yeah, TP will begin. And he'll go off to the shrine instead. So happy to take the damage and waste a little bit more time. Just create space for Miracle on top.
It's actually not bad because Fear can actually hit tower now. Kuro's in position, but
yeah, there's still a Bane versus a Brood.
Very wisely, Mind Control didn't go all the way back to Fountain, so he's going back for the tower that he left.
I remember what I said before. Crit could potentially deny this. Hex, deny. Then, yeah, tower gets denied by Fear. At the same time, Mind Control repelled up, starts running forward, just trying to chase down Crit with a Roar. It's on to Kuro. So Sumail, Fear, and Crit now have to work together against Mind Control, but the ET stop after purification of Mind Control. Gets 1 kill return. 1 for 1, even if the tower does get traded out.
Some moment of hope there for EG. Looked like they were about to get a Finger of Death and a stun off on Omni, but great rotation from GH. They're at the right time to absolutely save his friend and give the turnaround. So he's in Relic territory. He's got 4,200 golds.
Not too shabby at all. Got a medallion coming in from GH. So, yep. Roshan becomes more fun. Arteezy. Life is hard, but it's not that bad when life still has negative 73.
He'll TP and Shrine. Fear's almost got his Orchid as well, about 100 gold. So this could turn things around for EG as well. At least if they can silence Mind Control, amplify his damage, prevent the healing and the repel. But he's got all of his points and his skills here. He doesn't have his ultimate, but 4 points in repel means relatively low cooldown, high duration. If he survives the Orchid initiation or he's able to run away, then a very high chance he survives.
Misery's leaving. TP out of the top lane. He already spammed out the wave a couple of times. And yeah, there is no one from Team Liquid coming to defend the bottom tower, so it should be a straight tier 1 for tier 1 tower trade-off.
It's not bad if you're behind, but I think EG's happy to trade.
Yep, it's getting close to level 3 Necros. They get a little bit more fight in the lineup, middle lane. Oh, they have enough to bring down Omni. Continuous stuns, and there's that Orchid. That's the only way EG was going to get the kill onto that Omni Knight.
Yeah, it basically means that all the spiders do damage, finally. They can't do that normally, because 1 nuke is going to be gold, but if he's silenced, no nuke, and they can get it.
Money in for ET. Splitter as well. They can't run those spiders back. Broodmother just remains asleep. Crit was able to dodge it, but because he dodged it, he's on the wrong side of the river. A Miracle can mop him up. Fear begins his retreat, but bottom lane, Arteezy and Sumail done good work. That's that level 1 Necro book. Arteezy and Sumail just working together, bringing the town down to 600 HP. Misery.
They might fight this.
In the neighborhood. They have good vision thanks to the Observer Warp is down.
They'd love to get a kill here, especially if they can get Razor involved.
Either that, they get Omni Knight to TP towards the bottom lane. This will open up Fear to take that mid-tier 1. And it's not happening. In fact, Omni TP's up to the top shrine. So Matubama's defense will be enough.
And Razor's also going to go top to farm. I mean, his net worth is still pretty bad. He's somehow still behind GH. It's probably because GH is owning at 2-0 and 5, but once he finishes the drum, it's going to make up for a lot of his lackings in the early game. And then he just needs to show up for some kills. But either way, good movements from EG. They do lose the line in that mid fight, but dealing this much damage to the tower is great. It's basically stretching Liquid a little bit thin finally, between Brood pressuring mid and looking for Orchid ganks, 1 hero pressuring top. Looks like Crit's gonna die though.
Yep, Miracle catches him out underneath the Radiant Observer Ward. The ET Spirit's there, just in case EG brought support. Matubama may be in a little bit of trouble on bottom lane. He has that Nova available. He's gonna have to get it off if they're gonna try and win this fight. Able to do so. Fear not affected by it, but Sumail definitely. Fear's already found 1 kill, moves over towards the Venomance and leaves the Brutals to do the work. GH with his stomp creates some space, but not enough. Fear is a double kill, looking for the 3rd, going after the ET. He doesn't have a lot of life, let alone armor. A triple kill for Fear. Mind Control will now arrive. He has the Radiance done. So the bottom lane will be defended.
It's perfect place for Fear to be. He's just been jungling here between the Ancients and the other camps, and then in case when the pressure is actually, when there's a good opportunity between what Sumail and Coddle are doing, he can show up very reminiscent of last game, except the difference is it's a Brood instead of a Ember Spirit. So EG's doing a great job like fitting these templates of how they want to play the game into these different drafts. It's looking pretty cool.
They're looking for answer items now, Team Liquid. The Lotus Orb with the quick buy for Mind Control. You have a Desolator for Miracle, so this could be either potentially Roshan, or they just want to have that extra cheap damage you can get into a Lifestealer.
He's the scary one for Liquid side for sure. I mean, the Radiance on Omni is great, but what EG's trying to do is they're either ganking him or they're just leaving him, like walking away from him.
So EG with the Observer Ward, they see Kuro Mind Control and now GH, so Fear understands this fight is not worth taking, but he's underneath the Sentry Ward, outside of the webs and away from all forms of support. Kuro gets the perfect Fiend's Grip and actually takes the killing spree for 498 gold. Crit will be able to TP out in time. Kuro too far away to get the Nightmare off.
That was a pretty big mistake, a bit of a pathing issue basically. The ward on the cliff spotted him, but he walked outside of his web and didn't realize it. And in time, he didn't put a web down, didn't get out of the way. As soon as he's Fiend's Grip, he's dead. But those are the kind of kills that, or deaths that EG can't really afford, because as soon as if you're playing this kind of style, you can't let them gain any ground, and you have to keep trying to take opportunities.
They're going to try and kill bottom. The Observer Ward's still there. Beastmaster starts off with the Roar, and Crit just got called in, and he'll provide the extra stun to ensure the kill. Meanwhile, in mid, Team Liquid. The Desolator, great for removing off the armor, and this mid tower, well, it's not going to enjoy its life either.
Definitely the best thing to do when they get a pick off on Brood like that. I mean, it's not all bad for EG. I think they're considering that they lost an important hero. They got some good stuff out of it.
They're going to be into the tier 3 towns. They want EG to be forced home. And Misery isn't enough. In fact, he's now starting off his recall. So friends are coming. Blinding Light will push Team Liquid away. They bring Lion forward. And you can see Lion knows his place as well. Chris just saving his money for a Blink Dagger. He has to be that jump initiation, which just doesn't really exist until Beastmaster gets his own Blink. But he prioritized Necro.
And Razor's shifting now, finally pushing out top enough. Liquid rotates over. He's aware of this, so he's going to go now hit the other side of the map. But all the towers that are left for Liquid are on the top lane primarily, so this would be
security.
The good place for EG to push in the future, but for now they haven't really been able to commit to it, and we'll see how it lines up with the Brood strategy. It's one of the negatives of losing their tier 2 mid is that if you force Brood to fight in a different lane than he's comfortable with, then he loses some of that setup time, and it could really limit his mobility and his efficiency in between the fights. And yeah, he's prepping for Roche, trying to put webs in the right place.
Yep. He knows what Liquid need. Like, yeah, you take out the tier 2 tower. If Liquid grab the Aegis, yeah, they could take the bottom outer towers as well as that last tier 2 on top, but they could also just barrel down mid before EG is really ready to fight them. Because that BKB is still on the way for Arteezy. It does not exist yet. The jump initiation doesn't exist yet either.
I think EG's relatively content with their position now, though. They're slightly behind. Keeper of the Light's got Ags. But I still wouldn't count out Liquid in any way. GH is actually insanely farmed this game. He's got a Force and a Medallion. And Bane's got enough levels to be really relevant. And Omni Knight's just getting tankier. He's got a Plate Mail. He's almost finishing his Lotus Orb, which means that silences aren't going to be a big deal. If he puts it on the right hero, he can counter Static Link entirely, and then the whole Razor versus Lifestealer advantage is kind of countered.
Yep. Crit, well, puts down the Observer Ward. And he'll TP out in time as well.
Good escape there.
Yep, but Miracle's got into Roshan. Going to work with Mind Control. This is what we talked about before, though. EG are prepared. They've got the webs down. They did lose that Observer Ward, the Sentry of Liquid catching it out. The trade-off could potentially be bottom. That's level 3 Necro Box for Beastmaster, and Keeper of the Light can pull in more. Having that Aghanim Scepter. It is a nighttime push, however, so it's not as powerful, but with the catapults, Team Liquid, they've got to do this quickly. Roshan is about to fall, but the damage to their tier 3 tower is quite extensive. They're not burning fortification at all. And now EG will pull back the units. They get 2/3, if not 3/4 worth of damage onto that bottom tower. And Sumail may go for more. He's here for the Roar, able to get it off. There was no rage. The armlet is turned on the finger. Nice. They'll burn the Aegis to the Immortal. The creep waves are gone. Mind Control will arrive. But EG, heavy damage, distraction, and burn the Aegis. Not too shabby.
Yeah, it was a really good fake back. Again, they're scared to commit. Maybe not, scared is not the right word. They're not ready to commit. But even getting an Aegis trade like that kind of just offsets at least the next few minutes of obnoxious advantage that Liquid might have. Because if they have to deal with static link and killing, even if they do have like a lifesteal advantage right now, it could be really countered by the Aegis. So now Liquid has to go back to going for picks and trying to counteract the EG split push.
Yep. How do they actually get picks with their lineup? Like, is it just mind control running at them, hitting them with the degen aura? Because they don't.
Yeah.
There's no Yule set to build on the ET, so there's no Yules into Stomp. The Bane Fiend's Grip is kind of the only thing, but Kuro is never going to afford like a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, and him getting something like a Glimmer could definitely help, but it's still hard, right? It's difficult for them to catch heroes like Broodmother. The map control and the offensive pressure that EG has is a little bit harder, so Liquid does want to gank, but they kind of have to still be reliant on smart movements and allies, basically. So dewarding the map would be really good. Gems, things like that. If they could make sure their opponents don't have wards, if they have better vision, then they can pick and choose their fights better and make up for the fact that they're a little bit worse at initiating.
Matumba just trying to clean up some of these spiders.
I don't even know if it'll work.
Level 3 Gale only, but with the extra damage amplification of the Veil, it's a little bit nicer. There's that Lotus Orb done now for mind control, so they have an answer to the Orchid, but they don't have an answer to bottom. Sumail as well as Misery are back again. Here comes the Illuminate spam. You've got the Satyr Hellblaster, and by the time this TP is completed, Miracle can at least pop out with the Infest to kill a little bit of this off, but they still take more and more chip damage. Got it.
So EG just lives in the enemy jungle. Solo heroes push. I feel like the hero they should be ganking on Liquid side is probably Razor. I feel like he's essentially been by himself for 23 whole minutes. And now he's finally got a BKB, but ganks that would have went on him earlier than that might have been really effective. But they've always been trying to stop, maybe focus on the dual lane. Perhaps a mistake. And it's almost daytime too, so this is probably a window that EG might be looking for being a little bit more aggressive on kills.
Well, there's no reason why they can't just keep this continuous pressure up. Like, okay, yeah, Razor has his BKB, but he probably wants to get more than this. Force Liquid to waste time defending that bottom tier 3 tower. So if they lose that, you start losing shrines. You start losing that aggressive position that can get you back out to Roshan, can get you into fights inside your own jungle. And they're going to have them soon. As you said, the BKBs have arrived. You just got a second one now onto Fear.
Yeah, essentially, this is the part where Coddle starts being a really strong hero. They're in the game, they have some kills. He can use map control. He can push out the lane constantly. He can pull cores that want to split push. This is a scary position for Liquid to be in, but I feel like they have pretty good control of the game. And they even have Fiend's Grip, even though even though Razor does that BKB to run away in times of danger, Fiend's Grip can definitely lock him down. So they have some tools here.
It's going to be gang time shortly. But Tummerman just bought a Blink Dagger. It's on the Courier, which is flying out over the top of Kuro's head. So they've got that jump initiation from the Venomancer. It's still jump in with Veil for stuff. So it's not like jump into Yule, so there's no extra control, or if he's unlucky, he's going to get Orchided or Roared when he jumps.
I think it's okay though,
great.
Because if he just blinks and drops a Gale on Beastmaster and uses his ultimate, all they need is GH to sit behind and set up to cancel the TP with Echo Stomp. And they can definitely do that. Curl's wrapping around as well. They're not going to find it. They're just a little bit too late here.
Good map sense. No one's farming up in the jungle. They can see that with the Observer Ward. No one's forcing out any of the lanes. So everybody has disappeared for Team Liquid. And they probably just want to take these bottom towers. ET, oh no, Crit Misery here. So is Fear, instantly Hex, instantly Orchided. You do get a jump into the backlines onto Arteezy. The BKB comes out. They have a lot of damage, but then again, so does Sumail. When he had these small little books fighting for him, there was only one choice. It was Koro, the Fiend's Grip, to bring down Sumail. He'll lose his life for a crit, the double stun. They protect him with the GA, but they're draining out the Mana Miracle. There's your roar up. He needs to kill off Fear. It's a 2-for-2 trade-off, but maybe a little bit too deep. Mind control, Mana leaked up, but Tummerman blinking back in the front lines. They want to keep working. Blinding Light forcing him back. Mind control protected by the repel. Chris starting his TP. Won't be enough time. Mind control with the purification gives them the damage required, and they would love to get more. Miracle's got no way to jump forward.
That's fine. He can just slap creeps. Mind Control's impact on that teamfight was insane. It looked pretty bad for Liquid at the start, with the exception of them dealing a lot of damage to Razor, but as soon as Omni shows up and drops Guardian Angel, EG stopped killing heroes, and there's still a lot on the backline they had to deal with. Venomancer did great as well. Kept galing heroes, kept forcing EG to semi-commit. And the Guardian Angel makes all the big difference. Beastmaster goes down, and then EG's forced to play around weak disables and sort of okay damage.
Miracle just forces the issue and forces the fortification of Evil Geniuses. GH and Kuro are on their way. All 5 heroes from Team Liquid in the mid, but they won't continue the pressure. Brood is up in 22 seconds. Everyone else from EG is alive.
There's that team fight once again. Instant kill on GH, made that kill very easy. Arteezy loses a lot of HP though. And Mind Control just jumps in, pops Repel, and gets in to impact the fight in a huge way. Keeps Miracle alive as Sumail is diving. Sumail gets killed. And then from there, it's just a little bit of a chase.
That Nova lasts so long. Like, how do you continue to move? Like, your BKB, it's like you need to have it twice over.
Yeah.
In order for EG to stand in these engagements.
I mean, Omni Knight really changed everything in that fight.
Yep.
He showed up, kept the one hero alive, then just chases everybody down with a crazy slow of Degen Aura, 34%.
Well, we can come back live in just a second because we'll want to be doing that. Team Liquid have gone for a full smoke wraparound. They've gone through the eastern side of the EG jungle, while EG have just basically run over the Liquid side. And you were probably hoping for an engagement which would happen around the bottom tower so they could just keep pushing and fighting. That EG are not obliging. They've got better vision in the northern side of the map, and they're going to hold around that position too.
Yeah, both teams just playing really well around where they expect their opponents to be.
It's still now going to become nighttime. So Misery not as powerful as he'd like to be.
I think he's pretty happy. I mean, he got Ags at a good time. He's got Ghost Scepter now, so keeping himself alive against Omni right clicks is more important generally than the Radiance Burn. But he definitely needs a Force as well, especially with the gem here. Force would help him stay alive if he makes mistakes. So positioning is still huge, and there's a lot of big threats on Liquid side, mainly Lifestealer, the cores, Lifestealer, Veno, and Omni. All of these guys are hugely dangerous against any of these supports.
Do you actually like Broodmother going for a Butterfly? Because I was wondering if Fear would need to go like higher disable. He's getting a lot of money, like something like a Nullifier, for example, trying to keep the Omni out of the fight. Or is Butterfly essential so he can actually be a combat Brood? Yeah,
Butterfly is probably important just because it increases his damage and his attack speed. If you think about it, his ultimate is a big right click. It's 140 damage when he uses that. So he kind of just needs the ability to go toe-to-toe with somebody. Evasion, attack speed, armor, all of those things will help out heavily. So once he gets Butterfly, we might actually see him be able to kill tanky heroes like Lifestealer or Veno or even the Omni Knight.
Sumail just TP'd down. He may really regret this decision. Then again, with the Shadow Blade, they have a sentry ward over on Kuro. Matumba is holding on to a small little care package. That's the Lifestealer.
He's going to spot the Plague Ward behind himself. The gank that was.
The ward that can solo kill a ball.
Well, Trading Towers essentially has been done.
Yep.
It's very good that Liquid's been playing around the bot lane a lot. Since that tower got so low early, they've been doing a good job keeping that lane pushed out and make sure there's no threat of losing their tier 3 early on. But EG's still posturing. They've got a pretty good position right now and potentially getting a kill mid, but Mind Control can just pop Lotus Orb if he gets Orchided. So it's got to be Disables and Orchid, which requires a lot of hero resources, and it's harder for those heroes to jump on him unannounced. It's going to be able to see where they are and if they're missing.
Tense situation for any kind of gank. Vision game has been probably the more critical thing we've seen of late. That's why the Observer wards for Team Liquid were around the shrine, so they would know just how many resources EG would commit. And it's like Mind Control's just being given a license to chase anyone he can find. Mid lane stun, there won't be a follow-up to this. Kurt will be able to survive, but it is the reveal of the Blink, and Team Liquid, they see Roshan up, they're going to go in for it. It's now our second Roshan. EG, not great webbing around the pit.
Yeah, I don't think they can contest this one. I think EG has to find kills on their terms, and ideally ganks. It has to be disables. That's why it's so hard to play against an Omni Knight here.
I think these spiders are actually trying to get down to the pit, but there's no web, so they can't get the pathing. They get stuck up around the golems, the ancient golems instead. So, Cheese in the backpack of Mind Control. Miracle is the man to claim the Aegis Immortal, and it's defense time. Top lane's pushed in too hard. So is the bottom lane, and this is something EG's been very proficient at. Both the top and the bot lane is always being pushed in. Sumail has been the man tasked with the bottom. Coddle and Razor up on top.
Even more Degen Aura grab by Omni Knight now. So 46% slow to any hero in melee range. And he's got S and Y, so this guy's super fast.
Well,
oh, they're going to get a kill bottom though. Oh, okay, they got him.
Yeah, they got the Aegis Immortal, but at what cost? You got the EG splitter. They'll catch out crit. Sumail's TP is just high enough away. He doesn't get affected, but the Nightmare, that's a nice pickup. It's going to remove that global power that's been coming out from EG. And you're right, the Gem of True Sight now in the hands of the Lifestealer. This it's problematic for the Shadow Blade carrier Sumail.
If that was just line, no problem at all for EG. Good trade again. They're doing a great job ganking him as soon as he ends up getting in the Aegis.
Okay, I think GH just took about 300 gold from one spirit.
Those poor spiders.
Poor spiders.
Eldertine's actually so good against spiders. They have high magic resistance, and he can reduce it to 0. So if he gets the stomp off, that's a dead group.
TT's adding pressure again towards the top.
He's got him now, especially with Gem missing.
This is stopping the easy push down mid.
It is daytime for 4 minutes, though, so it's not the worst position for EG to be in, but with Crow grabbing that Coddle kill, it's certainly going to put him on the back foot, and the
Miracle
tower's going
just
to fall.
wants the tower. Rage, swing and ding. And then back the hell up out of here. Arteezy can still potentially fight. He's already used the 4-star. 4 heroes from EG come to the mid. Keeper of the Light, TPing out towards the Shrine, so we can recall and try and catch him off at the pass, but not going to happen. Instead, Liquid back up. Not all the way.
The Gale Slow is way too big there. They couldn't actually commit.
Like how
as
Lifesteal
they wanted.
invests into ET. Like he's been using the Blink Dagger of Matubberman as the delivery service.
This was a defensive one. It's like, I don't want to be disabled right now, so I'm just going to take an unexpected ride.
Well, ET Spirit, I suppose you take the ride in when he hits so many heroes, so many units. I can't wait to see this buff up on GH as Matubberman jumps in with a Sheeva's Guard, trying to slow him in. Plus 342 damage on GH.
Oh my god.
535 movement speed. This is where they've got to be careful.
I mean, EG's in this turtle kind of position right now. It all kind of started with the Coddle in the line being killed. They just have the really strong map control, and it's going to take EG a bit to get control again, and it might just be without a Rax.
Yeah, it may be. Miracle just beats it down. Fortification will try and slow things up. The Illuminate spam doesn't really even reach the creep wave. Instead, it's just Miracle standing in the front lines. The Sheeva's Guard from Matubberman causing reactions from EG. But you got the Lotus Orb on Miracle too. Like, he is protected as they take this Rax. EG has no answer. They had no desire to answer either. Arteezy was still on the bottom lane. They were not going to be fighting this.
It's just so hard to fight into Omni Knight, especially with Lifestealer. Like, EG used it last game, and they have Repel. So it's an even tankier, harder to kill Lifestealer. And their teamfight initiation is not the strongest in terms of an AoE. Oh man, look at that stomp. He saw the smoke, dude. His spirit, he saw the animation. What a crazy play. And the smoke is essentially fully confirmed. They know EG's crossing the map, so they're just going to sit back for a bit, avoid that one. On the bright side for EG, this gives them the opportunity to cross the map for the first time in what feels like 5 minutes, so maybe the game will go a bit equal, but they've lost a lot of net worth advantage in this small bit of time where they got that Aegis kill originally.
They need some kind of initiation. Maybe they feel like they can do it with Arteezy. Just use Static Link on Illusion. Starting the fight at 280 damage plus would be nice.
He doesn't even attack that fast, though.
It's kind of the same buff the ET is able to claim.
It's a good point. One is a ranged hero, though.
Butterfly pick up
they
for
might
the
fight
Omni
here.
Knight. There's your jump forward. They know Observers and Sentries are out.
I mean,
But they get rid of him.
They
Oh
got to
my
disable
god,
on Venom.
EG wrapped around. They try and get the kill into Matubberman. Lotus Orb
No
and
way.
GA! They keep him alive. The Fiend Scribbles on the Brood. Now they break free. Brood, actually, can he? He's still stuck there. Now Fear, maybe you can attack, but a lot of your insatiable hunger has
they
been
could kill
wasted.
Omni.
Mind control. A huge kill to claim. Omni will go down, and so will the Venomancer. Lifesteal is not that healthy either. Kuro tried to create a little bit of space, but Miracle needs to retreat. Cheese is available. But Arteezy, he got a full damage deal once again. Miracle was at negative 280. He was doing nothing in that fight.
I'm actually so surprised EG even started getting kills there. It looked like the worst possible situation. They initiated, they used all their disables, and then the person that they went on ended up getting healed and saved. I thought the fight was over right there.
Yep. I kind of want to watch it again just so we can see like how it all went horribly, horribly wrong for Liquid. And it is horribly, horribly wrong. That experience swing, the gold swing, it's a 3-for-3 trade-off, but when you're this far, okay.
Oh, this is a big kill. It's got cheese, though.
But yeah, you've still got cheese available, so Miracle. It's at least Fear burning off the extra additions from Roshan.
All right, here comes the team fight.
Yeah.
They initiate over here. They jump on the Venomancers, would have been a giant kill, but the Lotus Orb, the Repel, the Guardian Angel cost everything for them to save him. In the meantime, Arteezy stole all of this damage from Lifestealer, so Lifestealer wasn't dealing any damage either. And once the BKBs are popped, that means it's just Venomancer ulti, but that doesn't damage any of the important heroes. So they actually were able to out-team fight them just because Arteezy stole so much damage from Lifestealer, who is the big damage dealer on Liquid's side.
Yeah, Miracle just turned and you see him on the screens and it's like, I tried, but there's nothing I could do. He was at a point of giving life with every single swing.
Yep. And finally buying the item that would give him the solution without need of allies. It's the Lincolns. Oh, Cuddle's going to get grabbed here for sure.
Yep, tries to jump up. There's your Fiend's Grip. Even the ET splitter, if ET want to fight this, they'll lose heroes, and they know it. So they just back up. They'll lose the extra creeps from the Beastmaster on the bot lane.
It's pretty bad
Team
for
Liquid,
EG.
do you just go up?
I mean, Liquid's here already, right? The whole team is here. The creep wave is pushed down the mid lane. Top lane is slightly vulnerable, but not in that bad of a situation. It's time to hit a building.
Razor just bought the full Skadi. Arteezy's buying out to be part of this fight. No buybacks apart from the Beastmaster available for Evil Geniuses. There's your Hex over on the Lifestealer, and once again Arteezy starts the fight, stealing a last chunk of damage. Only 87 this time, Matumberman. A decent ultimate. Actually, no. It only got crit. It needed to get more than that. Arteezy and Sumail were untouched by the poison. But Liquid still forcing the issue. Fortification not available for Evil Geniuses, and they're going to let the lane of Rax go. They know there's no fight to be had here. Team Liquid, second lane of Rax goes down.
And a very small mistake with Coddle getting caught there completely leads into this. If they have Keeper of the Light to blast this wave, if it was daytime, they would have been able to maybe hold that off. But a second set of racks falling at 38 minutes and a 15k gold deficit is really hard to play against. But EG does have good hero matchups with stealing damage from Lifestealer, but it's even harder now with his Lincolns finished. So, tough game.
You could also see the priority, like Matumberman as well as GH, the second they realized what was happening with Miracle, they forced after him. They got him the hell out of there. I don't know if Sumail wants to do the same type of thing. He's rotating around the top. He does not have friends nearby. Keeper of the Light is further up the lanes. They would need Miracle to go for the next wave and Sumail to then just Shadowblade right now and get him behind him. Very difficult task as GH is sitting up there killing off an Observer Ward. So they know there's no easy line to these cores.
He really wishes I was there, because getting any kill on a support right now would be amazing. He can also still split push the wave, which is an advantage, of course. Is what Coddle's doing as well. Blasting the wave with an ability, if your opponents aren't watching the minimap or looking with their eyes, they might not spot it. So these kinds of split pushes are a huge advantage. And if anything, they've got creeps in the mid lane. Maybe they could kill the bot tower if they get past the tower a little bit. Very hard right now. Liquid's grouping up as 5. They're going to go for the last racks, and EG's got to defend this. Yep.
It can all come down to this defense right now for EG. You're so far behind, you don't want to fight up against Megas, especially as this is the final game. Single elimination matchup is what we're looking at. The loser of this game doesn't go home, sticks around and watches the rest of the days of play. ET Stomp perfectly onto Arteezy and Sumail. No follow-up. Miracle just focusing on the objective-based gaming. They want that tier 3 tower gone, and they get it. Fear's ready to wrap around the side. They're keeping a very, very close eye.
It's so hard for EG to defend against this, especially at nighttime. If they have day, at least they can see all their heroes. They can pick good team fights, but because they're very disable heavy, it all comes down to their initiations.
Liquid 20 before they go in. They know Roshan could spawn up shortly. He's just under 2 minutes, about 1 minute 40 before he's going to spawn. But also the Courier's heading back to base to finish Matumberman's Aghanim Scepter. You have a Scythe device on Elder Titan. Critical items are starting to arrive, and EG, they're coming to try and contest Roshan if it's up, but it ain't. There's nothing there, but it is daytime, so they can fight. They jump in. The instant Hex on mind control. If they can pop in right now, they've got a chance for Matumberman. Gets the jump in with the Aghanim's ultimate. EG, they're coated in gunk, and with the Fiend's Grip, nowhere to go for Razor. He stole the damage, but even with the BKB, Blinding Light cannot protect him. Evil Geniuses, they're on the run, and they're going down. 4 heroes lost for Evil Geniuses. This could be the final nail in the coffin as Liquid make a beeline for mid lane.
Just amazing play by Liquid there. The Nightmare to buy a second for mind control there functions as a disruption, and instantly he's able to get his spells off, his items, stay alive, and then EG's hope for winning that fight was gone completely. Not the best place to find an enemy team, but man, Liquid has been very deliberate and safe at just getting farther and farther ahead in this game.
I don't know how they defend this at all. EG has already Matumberman. Blink daggers up, looking for the kill onto Misery. Misery is coated in every type of gunk possible. Even the ET splitter will catch Sumail and not bring him down. This should be GG, and in fact it is. Evil Jesus lose everyone in their base. It was a crushing game 2 in favor of EG, but Liquid hold strong and take the series 2-1, advancing to the semifinals.
I love that win from Liquid just because it was playing the same game as the previous one, but they just beat what EG was doing better. I think the Omni pick was absolutely crucial to making sure that Brood was not the scary, he's going to run you down hero. If they have a different core there, maybe it's different, but they absolutely pressured EG in the lanes. They made Arteezy have to play this catch-up game for like 20 minutes. And then they just took these smart, safe team fights with excellent skill and ability use execution in the late game. Like Liquid takes EG's hard fights and just eventually snowballs through it.
Yeah, still want to give massive props to EG. They had a great group stage tournament. They came out, they played wonderfully. They gave us a whipping that we haven't really seen on a main stage for the last 4 years. But at the end of the day, Team Liquid, they're looking strong, they're looking good, and they really are carrying on that momentum. One of the few teams which you'd say, you know what, after their win at TI, they've actually held their form for a very long time, even leading up to the next TI. Is this actually the team that could win 2 in a row?
It would be pretty incredible, but there's still a lot of time and a lot of tournaments until that moment.
There is.
And even winning this tournament would be an accomplishment. They ended up getting 3rd place in the last major, so I'm sure they're aiming for #1.
Yeah, they are. But Liquid looking strong. They get to play tomorrow in the semifinals. Cannot wait for that one. Paul, was it as expected? Obviously, Suns fan expected it.
Yes, he did. We nearly got brooded. I nearly got Suns fan, but neither of those things happened in the end. And Liquid prevail in the quarterfinals. It's almost like we predicted it at the start of the tournament. But they have had an extremely tough road, no lesser so than in this quarterfinal. They've been given a real scare by a very good Evil Geniuses team. We're going to wrap things up on our first day inside the arena here and our 3rd and final quarterfinal of today. Of course, the other quarterfinal will be at the start of tomorrow alongside the 2 semi-finals. Cap and Suns fan are waiting, so let's get their thoughts. Cap, it was a great performance by Liquid, wasn't it? Much more what we expected from them. We've been waiting, it seems, the whole tournament for this kind of performance.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job. Setting up the laning phase was the most important part, being able to get the Omni Knight and how well he did against the Broodmother. And then on top of that, the fact that they managed to do so well with the Lifestealer against that Razor in the laning phase was also another huge win for them. So they pretty much dominated 2 out of 3 of their lanes, and the 3rd one didn't even go that badly. If you don't have that kind of start, especially with the Broodmother lineup, you are very quickly going to start falling off.
Suns fan, you predicted it.
I mean,
You're an oracle.
What can I say? I mean,
You are an oracle.
It was the reverse EG. That's what this tournament
It
was all about.
You called it early.
Yeah, well, it happens from time to time. We're going to see some highlights here, it looks like. But yeah, you're right. The Omni Knight, I did not expect that to go that well. It is a good matchup. I think the thing about Brood, though, is you can't really move her around as easily as another hero, right? I mean, they've kind of remedied her inability to do that a bit, but still, out of all the heroes in the game, you can't just TP and just reset all your webs.
Yeah, it seems like
often.
the Broodmother feels like she kind of has to be mid in many situations because the way the webs start out, it throws over the whole entire mid lane, but in the side lanes, it doesn't give you that same kind of coverage. And then on top of that, because the initial matchup was the Broodmother versus Omni Knight, it's not like you can rotate out of that because then the Omni Knight's just going to follow you. You TP to one of the side lanes, you try and get Razor in the mid lane against the Omni Knight, then Omni Knight's just going to follow the Broodmother, and you would just have this constant game of cat and mouse where Liquid's always chasing you. So they didn't even try and switched up. They figured, all right, then maybe we're going to be able to win these other lanes. We've got this Razor sort of aggro dual lane situation into the Lifestealer. That didn't go so hot. It looked okay to start, but then it fell apart really quickly. Liquid just did so well in the laning phase, and then it was a struggle. Once we looked at it, it was like 15 minutes in, and there was like a 1K gold lead for Liquid. It just looked like it was over already. And then it was just a gradual... basically, Evil Geniuses had to be able to rat a victory out of this game, and Liquid did well to cover themselves. They never let that tier 3 get ratted out and kept their shrines up as well.
And the games we've seen in the past with Beastmaster being played by Sumail, he kind of just takes over his lane and just, in essence, the game in a lot of ways. You didn't really see anything like that this game at all. It just felt like there was a Beastmaster, a couple roars here and there, but didn't really feel like that was that much impact.
Omni Knight definitely keeps some of that as bay with the Guardian Angel and the Purification turnaround, and then on top of that, he's faced up against the Venomancer, a hero that you can't really get too aggressive on. Between a combination of the Gale and the wards, you can't really close that distance very easily. So Evil Genius is just not able to take off in some really potent combinations from them in the past. The Coddle Beastmaster has had a gigantic win rate for them. Broodmother in these later picks have been relatively successful. Less successful since maybe Katowice and now this tournament. Broodmother last pick seemed to be falling off a bit. His teams have adjusted.
Yep, and we made the point just before this game began, and once we saw the Brood, that's now 4 defeats in the last 6 when they've picked the Brood. I mean, we've never really thought of EG as a Brood kind of team in the past, let alone now. Nothing's changed, does it?
Well, when you pick the hero, I don't know how much it makes a difference nowadays versus the old ones, but you pick Brood, your entire lineup kind of, it just feels like it's one of those different heroes. You have to play around them in a certain way. And not saying they need to necessarily practice it because they're all very veteran.
Sure. But I know what you mean. When you see OG pick it, or Secret pick it, or Virtus Pro pick it, you kind of go, you do get a bit more scared, don't you? Because you kind of go, oh, no, have they done that? They have done that, haven't they? And it's very rare you see them lose with that. So I think that's what we've kind of come to expect. But you just don't expect EG to pick it.
Yeah, and it's not something, I mean, they can easily just, in the next month, master that. And as far as chemistry goes, they can easily.
I mean, that said, Fear didn't have a bad game. It wasn't like he did anything wrong in the game. It was just it didn't quite fit the same way as we would expect it to.
It was more the Omni, honestly. Because I was looking at the CS and it's like, Brood's actually doing okay, but the problem is he can't really push against Omni. Omni's pushing him, or her, I guess in that case. It is a
yeah, get it right. Otherwise, Sir Action Slacks gets very upset.
Oh, you guys,
he was already in tears.
You guys remember that YouTube video a long time ago where he was the Broodmother? That was pretty much, he was just role-playing Broodmother
We need to
backstage the whole time.
videotape the green room.
I really do. I feel like sometimes that's going to be better content than what we do out
the
here.
garbage he puts out normally, you know? Have you seen that garbage? Good Lord. Slacks, just tape yourself, man. Jesus. Get with it.
It's just naturally funny in the green room. Let's just wrap up on the scoreboard and show you exactly how things shook out in this third and final game. It is good viewing if you're a Team Liquid fan. Particularly nice for Miracle on the live steer. 10, 0, and 6 for him. In on 15 for GH and Matumba Man, and obviously the not particularly nice score lines for Evil Geniuses at the bottom. Overall 29-13. The final score.
Yeah, not that Matu played poorly, because I feel like Mind Control definitely MVP of this game. But look at his damage still. Matu.
30K.
That's a Venomancer game, right?
Again, 32K in the last game, I think, and then another 30K.
Not too bad. Yeah. It's a pretty short game too, so that's pretty impressive.
Kuro had a ton of really sick saves as well as Mind Control. Obviously, he did fantastic on the Omni Knight, plenty of turnaround potential there. But it was actually Kuro with a hero that's a lot less capable of being able to provide those saves. There were some very clutch nightmares. One where they initiated on Mind Control with the smoke play, and then another one towards the end where they had the Razor fight, and the Lifestealer jumped inside the cart, and Razor's like, damn it, now I have to kill this cart before I can kill the Lifestealer, and Lifestealer comes out, instantly Razor gets slept, he's able to walk away and kind of reset. It was great.
Perfect match MVP by Telecom, Mind Control.
What a beast.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much more we can lavish praise on him, is there? Is there anything else you want to say about how amazing it was?
Radiance is a good item on this hero. I want to look at a percentage of win rate. I know, obviously, it's going to be played a little bit differently in different lanes and whatnot, but percentage of games where Radiance is picked up on Omni versus not.
Right.
Because I feel like Radiance
you're looking at me right now, and I know I'm old, but I'm not Nahaz.
I know, it's okay. I get you guys mixed up sometimes, you know. But no, the Radiance just enables so much. I mean, you get that gold per minute talent. I forget what the other.
You get the 50 damage at level 15.
Is it 50? I thought it was 60. Okay, probably 50.
I think it's 50.
A lot of damage. You get an actual farming mechanism in the Radiance, and then you just snowball out of control. And then you can just go utility. You don't even need to go anything super special. Like the Lotus Orb is what he picked up. So good stuff. Good hero. Never thought I'd say that because I really used to hate this hero back in Dota 1. It used to be the solo mid. Used to be able, Red Eye. I don't know if you know this. There's a little trivia for you. The fountain, you could actually destroy in Dota 1. Did you know that?
No.
You go into the enemy fountain, Alchemist, and Omni Knight. That's all you really need.
I have heard about this.
You become invulnerable. He gets the super regen, and you just beat the crap. You can even Chronosphere the fountain as well, and just actually destroy, and they can't heal.
It used to be a bush. It was called the Burning Bush.
Right.
Was it? I don't remember that.
Yeah, you would just run in, kill the bush, and then you could just permanently farm the enemy team.
Why don't we have that in Dota 2? That's the real question.
Well, that's probably a question
that
for
answers
Icefrog.
itself, really.
You should take it. There's a chap at Valve, I don't know if you've heard of him, called Icefrog. You should drop him an email and let him know your ideas. Bring some stuff back.
They said they ported everything, but that's a lie. That is a lie.
They've let you down.
Yes,
I can
really
see
have.
that. You're very disappointed. Why don't we get some words from one of our winners, because he is right now with Sir Action Slacks.
Hello, everybody. I am here with MC himself, the man, the myth, the legend. Bro, what a series. What's it feel like to just be an unstoppable murder machine on that Omni night?
Oh, it feels good.
You think?
Yeah.
All right, so Omni night, whose idea was it? It was kind of strange. You ran a mate against the Brood, which worked out really well. Were you the one asking with that? Did Curl make you play it?
I asked Kuro for it because I already played in a pub game, like Omni against Brood. I always win the lane, so wanted to try it out.
All right, easy peasy. All right, now talk to me. I know I'm not supposed to ask you about this. It's a lame interview question, but I got to know about game 2, dude. It looked really rough. I was really worried. Were you guys feeling the heat in that game, and what went wrong?
We didn't feel nervous, but we knew it's a very hard game, and we probably would lose it, but we wanted to get 1 kill at least, but we couldn't get it.
Can you explain what happened at the end? I saw you guys all smoked up, and you started running around and stuff.
Oh yeah, we wanted to kill the Chen so we can get that 1 kill, but we fucked up.
And that was it, huh? What was your secret to success in this series? I mean, people thought that EG was going to have one-up you. Anything that you did in particular to prepare?
We definitely prepared and we banned their Nature's Prophets. I think if we didn't ban it, we would probably lose 2-0, but because their Nature's Prophet is very good. And we just banned it. Worked out pretty well.
All right, fantastic. Well, what are you going to do tonight? You guys had an amazing series. You got to rest up. Big day tomorrow. Any plans?
I'm going to watch my replay and see what I did wrong in Game 2 and Game 3.
Sounds hype, all right. Well, enjoy that replay, sir. This guy, he never stops working. He's always going at it. And we'll see some more from Team Liquid and MC tomorrow. Nice work, man. Give it up. Ugh! Crush your fingers here, all right?
Unbelievable. Not just him either. The other man, Mind Control. What's he going to do tonight? He's going to look at what he did wrong in Game 3. You did nothing wrong in Game 3, MCEO. Got the MVP. Your team won the game. Just shows you how competitive. And I like the fact that Jake asked them about that second game. They just wanted to. We were sitting here thinking, did they just want to get one kill? They did want to get one kill. That's how competitive these boys are.
Funny, when they go back and look at the replays, they're not going to learn anything from Game 2.
No.
Game 3, even though they won, they learned more.
Yeah, absolutely. And you heard him say they knew they'd lost that game. They knew, or they didn't know they'd lost it, but they knew it was going to be a hard game. So they were kind of expecting it to be difficult. Let's just get some final thoughts from you before we shut the show and get some sleep and come back and do it all again tomorrow. Kat, highlights today?
I think some of the highlights for me is the fact that we're going to keep seeing Newbie and Liquid in this tournament. I think it's a very fun storyline that Liquid managed to maintain their dominance despite none of the other TI champs ever having really done this before. I know everybody likes to talk about, like, oh, it's really cool that all these teams can beat all these other teams, but I think it's a time for a real dynasty. And in Dota 2, and I think Liquid is establishing that with their TI run and now their performance afterwards. They just seem to be monsters.
What makes a dynasty in Dota 2, though?
I mean, I think OG had one when it came to that Majors run, right?
It's been 12 months now of pretty clinical Dota from one team.
And it's not often, pretty much ever, other than Na'Vi maybe, where you win TI and you're still super motivated after.
Yeah.
Usually there's this lull or whatever, but not the case for Liquid. For me,
play RPGs.
Yeah, or other games, or literally anything but Dota. That's definitely true. I'm super excited about tomorrow. Optic versus VP. I think a lot of people are giving VP the heavy favorites, which is probably, to be expected. Yeah. But I think Optic can surprise people. Whoever shows up on that day, they are a little bit inconsistent, but I think their ceiling is pretty high. So I think we're going to see a pretty good series. Yeah. But we're going to see some good Dota. We get to see China definitely being in the finals one way or the other versus some Western teams. So that's another cool storyline.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a fun day. Thank you very much, gents. Time to close the show. It's been a fantastic day in Dota 2, as you would expect from a major. Tomorrow, 3 more games, 1 quarterfinal, 2 semi-finals, as we reduce the field to just 2 teams. And right now, there is a couple of teams who are still in this, fighting to win a major for the first time, and only 1 left who can do the repeat. Virtus Pro are in action tomorrow morning against Optic Gaming, and we'll see you then.
protect your neck. Nobody got respect. Defend your rep till the end, or I'll land you in that cement blow. No time at the present, I want it all now. Sky's the limit, I don't see any more clouds. Raps Mayweather, I don't care for the name of contenders. I'm great and train better. My grey sweater, laced in sweat on my 8th chin up. Pull your weight or get baked for a man's dinner. A born sinner, trying to make the formula. I'm cooking in the kitchen and whipping some thick cream. Look at my competition and thinking it's all me. A penny for my thoughts and some Lizzie for my dreams. Believe.
Fight each battle until we win this war. Nobody gonna stop us till we get there.
Yeah, and ain't nobody stopping me. I'm coming for my property. Don't care about your politics. Yeah, sure. I had a vision, a man possessed, I'm on a mission. Rule book, rewritten, ripped out the pages, then wrote it different. You can do this, no more excuses. Don't surrender before you become useless. We ain't built like that, we're tied to the game. Buried my competition, they couldn't stand the pain. Now I'm back in the trenches, in the black trench. They never listened before, so I tell them again. Thrive under pressure, any block I wrestle. I ain't out my imperfections, that's some heavy metal. Cut them down in the dust, that'll never settle. Never reach my level, I'm a born rebel. I'm a born rebel, turn your silver chain to a gold medal.
Fight each battle until we win this war. Nobody gonna stop us till we get there.
Yeah, and ain't nobody stopping me. I'm coming for my property. Don't care about your politics. Yeah, sure.
the smoking flame, born again in the dead of night. Just a child of the blood in pain, getting fed by the desperate cries. I got a darkness inside, it never seems to go away. Come alive when the sun goes down, run from the light of day. Everybody knows when the east wind blows, it